Oh, okay. We were going to do one more, but we will join you. Oh, it's okay. Should we or should we?
Do one more.
Okay.
Gateway to Africa, where God first met us, and He gave us a homeland. In return, we worship Him as He prospered our land. We remember Yasantua, we remember Kwichiragri, we remember Kwame Nkrumah, and praise God for all. To freedom and justice we lift up our hearts. Oh, freedom, oh, justice, our watchwords forevermore, as we are people who have seen much trouble in our own home and abroad, standing upright for peace. We remember our soldiers, we remember our policemen, we remember all our forces, and thank God for all. To hard work and excellence we lift up our hearts. Oh, Ghana, dear Ghana, the home of all excellence. We strive as people, striving hard to the limit, striving hard for excellence as the home of the brave. We remember our parents, we remember our teachers, we remember Kofi Annan, and thank God for all. Lead on, lead kind light, lead Ghana to the light, and guide us on our way to the eternal
Yeah. Join me on the set. How y'all doing?
Hugs.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too.
Charlie, I know say no one comes to the set, but it's okay. You can't sit small.
Yeah. If it small, then
All right. So Michael and Kokui have joined me on the set, and let's get right into the conversation. So
yes.
How was 2024?
Gosh.
Yeah.
2024,
Yeah.
it was a mixed bag,
Okay.
you know. I think we all know that as a country we went through a lot.
Yeah.
But thankfully there's music. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think music is something that takes us through
Music always makes
everything,
things-
you know, no matter the situation, no matter the time, whether you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're depressed, there's a song for it,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I think as musicians, we are really blessed
Yeah.
because even when times are tumultuous
Yeah.
or in times of celebration,
Yeah.
we always have
Have
music
yeah.
to see us through. So
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
so it's nice that we have that profession. Yeah.
Michael, the man who doesn't want to talk. Yeah. So, musically, how are you able to challenge yourself? Because you are, look, the first time I heard you play, I was like, this guy's at the pinnacle of his game anyway. So then, what's beyond the pinnacle?
Well, then there's no limit to
Nobody can
creativity.
perform more than you.
You're right.
Exactly. Nobody can perform more than you.
There's no limit to creativity. I mean, creativity is
it's expansive. You can keep going.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I keep challenging myself as a musician. Keep on bringing in new things with that innovative mindset, trying to channel it into whatever we do with regards to music.
Yeah. So. Okay. So let's talk about the band Kokui.
Yeah.
Yeah. How big are you now as a group?
Oh gosh. Well, the funny thing is, it looks like our family is growing even more because of something we just did, which we'll tell you about in a bit.
Okay.
And the band Kokui it's a living group.
Okay.
Meaning that it grows, it evolves, it changes, because we are essentially a collective of like-minded musicians who come together to make music.
Okay.
So we're all in our individual rights soloists, and we do a lot of things individually. But when it's time to make music and we want to come together, we come together to make music.
Okay.
And so it's a living, breathing group. It's numberless.
Yeah. Okay.
It really.
Okay. Okay.
So
no, I get that.
we're always working with musicians who it's like your mind day,
Yeah.
okay, let's move.
Yeah.
So whether, keyboardists or, guitarists, horns players, percussion, violin.
Yeah.
If your mind day and we know exactly what arrangement we want to do, we blend a lot of genres. So if you're somebody who likes to experiment and make creative music and keep innovating, then that's the band Kokui.
Yeah. All right.
Sizeless.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, I heard you talk about blending genres and all of that. I heard you singing something, and I said, Jijifa, she's singing in Ghana. But it's something that I noticed, that especially when it comes to your Christmas performances, you do a lot of that as well. Talk to us about the importance of blending a quote-unquote foreign genre with our language and sort of marrying the two, so that maybe we can also feel posh small, it's like Ghanaians can also feel, I'm hearing it in my own language.
But Kokui, I think people should understand that the type of music, that I studied, which is classical opera, maybe, the style may be considered foreign, so to speak, but it's for the masses. I think music is for the masses. Okay. And if you can appreciate music or any kind of art form, then it's for you. But unfortunately, we've put classical music and opera into this box of elitist
it seems
art forms,
very elite and
it
all
seems
of that.
so, but it really isn't. And when you delve into it, and last year I spent some time doing this thing I call story time, giving the synopsis of certain operas and things, so people understand.
I think I heard a few. I watched a few of those as well.
These are relatable storylines, and if it's the music that's intimidating, then maybe that's why we try to do what we do, which is to make it accessible to as many people as possible. Because honestly speaking, it's a matter of notes and chords. No matter what genre of music it is, at the end of the day, it's notes. And you play guitar,
it's just notes and chords.
It's notes and chords and progressions. The way in which a lot of these, whether it's European, Western, should we say, composers put together those notes and chords and progressions and whatever, and they innovated and they evolved. It started in one place, and it grew. It went from Baroque, Renaissance music, and then you've got classical, romantic, neoclassical, all of that. So it goes through stages. I think what we do now, which we call Afro-popera, which is like a mix of genres, is maybe another evolution on the classical basis, because really, Westerners wrote their music down, which is why we know it as it is. We don't write our music down, but we have our own form of notation. And now we've got African composers, Ghanaian composers who
beginning
compose.
to write.
They write
to put things
beautiful
down.
music, and we're privileged enough to have that. So I think the goal for us is to make art music, which is the umbrella under which it falls, more accessible to the masses, and to help us understand and appreciate what goes into the craft of music, because there are a lot of people who think, music is something you do when you can't do anything else, which I mean,
which is so not 2025. It's so not 2025.
Do you understand?
I mean, we are beyond that now. Seriously, even 2024, we're not talking like that.
We need to change those mindsets.
You can't be talking like that.
You can't be talking like that.
I mean, seriously.
Some of the most intelligent and forward-thinking people I know have that musical ability, and it's something that unlocks.
But you know what I find interesting? So two things, two opposite spectrums of the whole conversation. On one hand, you find that there's been proof that if a child struggles with learning and you introduce them to music, especially art music, it opens up their intelligence. You know, in a very fantastic way. There's been proof of that. Then on the other end of the spectrum, when people are highly accomplished and successful in life, they tend to move towards art music.
Yeah, it's true.
I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
There's
something to be said
There's
for
something
that.
to be said for it.
There really
so
is.
it's like the in-between people, no? Too much hustle. Butter and bread issues, so we don't like art music.
We have to survive.
But you're right. There are studies that show that art music in particular unlocks a lot of cognitive ability in children, and even the process of making music together in that setting, the team building, their motor skills, and that imaginative thinking and creativity of what's next. And with the band Kokui Foundation and our music box program, which is actually geared towards teaching children music fundamentals, and Michael's the workshop director there, just basic things like showing them about rhythm and teaching them how to clap rhythm, read notation, clap rhythm, see if they can, figure out, so if I write it like this, how would you clap that? Then they've got to start, turn on that brain a little bit. And you see the transformation and the excitement in learning,
I never read music. I can if you push me to. If you put a gun to my head, I can help you small. I can read small, but
it develops your ear.
No, I think it does, because what I noticed, I remember bass clef, treble clef. I remember crotchets, tones, semitones, some of those things. No, it's a small flex, it's like, it's because of Jifa, that's why I'm doing that, so that you can know that we are worlds apart.
So she knows that
there's a gap ahead. No, the gap is wide. So, but I'm interested, Michael, in the whole idea of teaching children, because that's something I've always loved to do. When I had the opportunity to be in Kenya as a missionary, it's one of the things I did was teach a lot of children. So I would travel around to different people's homes and I'd teach them guitar or keyboard, depending on what it was that they wanted for their child. And I find children very interesting. Because for me, it's a lot easier to teach children music than to teach adults.
Yes, and they teach you a lot.
They do. They do. How do you find that, though? Tell me about that.
It's very interesting when you find them responding very positively to what you have taught them. And they kind of trigger you to also learn something as a musician. Let's say something like fingering. We have a lot of alternative fingering when it comes to piano. You have taught the child the fingering to use. He or she finds something comfortable with something different to do with regards to what you have taught him or her. Now you can sit back and say, okay, I think this also works as an option. And the child is able to play whatever you have taught.
Wanted them to play, but with a different finger positioning, and then it still works.
Yes, and it still works. So they really teach us a lot. Once you keep that open mind in teaching children, you will become a better person.
Let's talk about the music box. What's this about?
Voice box.
We'll talk about voice box, music box.
You have voice box, you have music box.
So music box, we've started talking a bit about that. That is basically our CSR. The foundation itself is an NGO, right? So for the music box, what we realized was that we're depriving our children of an artistic education. Unfortunately, our educational system doesn't see fit to make sure that it is mandatory for children to have some kind of artistic basis. We know that there's a creative arts something in there, but it's quite inadequate. I mean, when you talk about fundamentals of whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's visual art, they do a bit, but it's almost like an afterthought, if I can say it that way. What we do know is that, as I mentioned earlier, cognitive skills development is enhanced by music training. we also know that we need creative and imaginative thinkers, and that starts from infants.
Yes.
If you give children
a few months old,
yes,
yeah,
the chance to develop that portion of their brain, the creativity, they will grow with it. We also have seen in other jurisdictions and in countries like Kenya, you mentioned you were there, they have incorporated that education in their school system right from, reception until. So they have, as a society, a greater appreciation for art music. And it shows in the way they treat their musicians, the way they even pay their musicians, and patronage of events like that. And even in the creation of music, the quality of the music that you create, whether it's contemporary or classical, that foundation
is there, so
affects the quality of music you produce. So with Music Box, what we do is we go into schools, mainly in rural areas, do workshops with children there. Our good friend Ibrahim Mahama at Red Clay Tamale, artist, actually supported us to do some workshops there. We went to Kumbung, right? And met amazing children. They were so great to work with. And he does a lot of art workshops with them as well, as you know. We've been to schools in the Ashanti region as well. And it's always so fulfilling to see how the children respond, as Michael was saying. And he conducts the workshops mainly, and he's so great at it, honestly. Such a good teacher. And the fulfillment is there, and then you realize just what a disservice we're doing to our children. I really hope that moving forward, we can see the need for this. And it doesn't have to be, they're singing instruments, yes. Let's use our local instruments.
Absolutely.
Not everybody
look at what Kompa is doing. Look at what Kompa is doing, right? So why not something like that? Let's use that.
Let's do that. Whatever is accessible to whatever school, you can start there and then scale up. So that's Music Box. Then Voice Box is generally the voice training program. And that is for people who want to learn how to sing and sing well. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's a perfect singer, okay?
Nobody?
None of us.
Really?
None of us.
Really?
Yes. And
I beg to differ on that one.
No. The people fail to realize that as a singer and as a musician in general, you have to continue learning. It doesn't stop anywhere. The greatest of the greats, it's lifelong learning. They still practice. They still have people who listen to them to give them pointers. So it's continuous learning. So at Voice Box, teach voice and voice fundamentals. We had a great session last week was our program. So we normally do a Christmas concert at the beginning of December. We decided to let the election be the election. And this year we did our first Voice Box Vacation Voices program. And it was fantastic. So I think Michael will tell you a bit more about it, and then I'll come in. I don't want to
he's wearing the Voice Box t-shirt.
It was fantastic.
Tell us about it. How did it go?
All right. So I was a bit surprised about how the synergy of people meeting for the first time was. Usually when you find people grouping in as a chorus, it's difficult for you to have that kind of synergy in between them, like how they are very much enthused about the whole program and all that. And within 2 days, we're able to learn 2 songs and perform it on the 3rd day. And I was like, interesting.
People who were
completely
strangers. They didn't know each other before.
Strangers.
We put out an open call. We said, listen, anyone who loves to sing. It doesn't matter whether you're a professional, an amateur, whether you're a bathroom singer, whether you sing in your sleep. Come.
Bathroom singer, like Paco.
Oh, it's
Paco's a bathroom singer.
So just come. Come meet us at Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. We're going to have 3 days together. The first day, 2nd day, we will do vocal training basics and we'll rehearse music. The 3rd day, we'll perform that music in the park and we'll have a mini concert as well. So we put out the ad. People responded more than we even expected. We thought, okay, let's see, maybe we'll get about 50 people or so. And we ended up, I think we crossed 100 or... I mean, it was quite... They came, and I mean, there are people who didn't even know what their voice category is. Some, all age ranges, young adults to more mature singers. And in the hot sun at Kwame Nkrumah Park, they came. They sat, we rehearsed. Again, fantastic. Michael led the rehearsals. Our colleague from Vocal Lessons Chorale, Gordon Quay, also led taught them songs. And we did 2 choral pieces by Ghanaian composers. One by James Varikama, who did very well, called Music Brings Us Together as one, and one by Victor Manison called Where Will I Be? And as he said, within 2 days, and it was just a few hours each day. I mean, within about 3 hours on 2 days, they memorized, had choreography,
and performed.
On the Saturday, we did the performance in the park, and it was beautiful. The video will be out soon, but if people go to the band Kokui Facebook, they'll see the live stream we did. Amazing.
So let's take a look at this video. We'll come back and then we'll continue the conversation that we're having here.